if you want to test your application on your mobile device or on a tablet or say another computer, you'll need to install the Expo app. Now you can go Expo Client. So you can get the Expo Client app from iOS or Android. On your computers, you can do it straight from a browser, and I'll show you that a little bit later. For Android, you'll have to go to your Android Play Store and download Expo. And iOS, you'll go to the App Store, to iTunes. Oh, it won't find it this way because it's not for desktop. But it'll look something like this on the App Store. So Expo with the funky looking A with the little half moon there. All right, once you have all that installed, close some of these tabs. You'll want to install Visual Studio Code. And that'll be at code.visualstudio.com. And just click the download link and install it for your local OS. Now I've already done that, so I will open up my copy of Visual Code. Now, once Visual Studio's code is installed, we want to install some extensions so that we can actually do React Native development. So you click the little package icon here, the extensions. And we want to search for some extensions. So you want to search for React. And the ones you want are going to be React Native Tools, this one here. And you're going to want this one here, ES7 React Redo Graphical. And let's see, what else do I have? I have this one here, yeah, React Native. So this one, and this one are already installed. Don't see the install link next to them. There we are, install. And React. There we go. So you should have these three extensions installed in order to use React Native. Then there's a couple other libraries you can install that will make your coding easier. So you want Code Formatter or Prettier. This is pretty cool because what it will do is this will allow us to format our code every time we save our code. And I'll show you how to set that up in a second. And then the other one we want is Material Icon Themes. This guy's pretty neat. I ran across him when I started doing development with React Native. And this allows you to have custom design icons for your mobile application. So it kind of gives you an out-of-the-box toolkit that allows you to quickly design icons for your applications. All right, once your extensions are installed, up in our search bar here, we need to type in type in form on save. And it's not an actual code or extension, so it's actually in settings. So we open up settings. And over here, we want to type format on save. There we go. So what we want to do here is we want to enable format on save. So this is for that Prettier extension. So we check that, and then we save, and we close our settings. And what this will do now is every time we save our code, it will automatically format our code. So we don't need to worry about indenting our tabs as we're actually coding. All right, so that sets up our Visual Studio's environment. So let's start by creating our first application here. Let me close Visual Code, minimize this, and go back out here. All right, so I'm going to go into my development folder. I created a React workspace here. And let's get rid of my hello world, and we'll just recreate it. Yeah. Yep. Sorry. There we go. All right. So now we just have a couple React projects in here, but we're going to create a new one. So to do that, at the command line, you type expo, init, and your project name or your application name. So in our case, we're going to use hello world. Now, it gives you a couple options. We can create a template using blank. We can create a managed workflow, which sets up a pure JavaScript project without native folders for iOS and Android. And bare workflows allows us to set up a project with native folders for iOS or Android. So we can do blank, we can do tab, we can do minimal, or minimal with TypeScript. So in this particular case, we're going to do blank. Going to download the installer, and then it's going to install the JavaScript dependencies and build the project for us. Take just a second. Okay, I lied. Took a few more seconds. There we go. Now, once the project is set up, it gives you the steps on what you need to do in order to edit your project and to run your project. So first, let's go into our project directory because we are still in the root. So we need to go cd hello world. And in here, we have our files for our project. Now, we don't necessarily want to do everything from the command line. So we can type in code dot, and this will open up Visual Code to our current folder. So here we go. We have hello world, and here is our project structure. So we have our assets folder here. This contains all of your images, videos, specific files, anything that you essentially want to wrap within your application, within your mobile app. And then our apps.js is essentially your running file. This is what gets kicked off when you run your app. So let's look at how we actually start our application by kicking off Expo, and then look at configuring our environment so that we can actually see the app run in both iOS and Android. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go to File, View, Terminal. So within Xcode or within Visual Code, we can actually run our terminal. So we don't have to keep jumping back and forth anymore from Visual Studio and our terminal window. So we can do all of our work now from within Visual Code. All right, so we have terminal. And if we do new terminal, it opens us up right into our Hello World folder. So we don't have to go digging around for this in our environment. Now, in our terminal, let's type npm start, and this will start Expo. So it started our project. Now, if we want to look at our development tools, we can load localhost into our browser. If I open up Edge, put in localhost 1902. So here is our dev management tool. So we can actually see all the what's going on with our application within Expo. Okay, come back to that. Oh yeah, one other thing to mention about that. So this application, it's loaded. This is actually called the Metro Bundler over here. So this is kind of telling you what is running within Expo. This is the JavaScript bundler for React Native. Now, if you're on Mac, you can actually download the Debug Tools, the React Native debugger, and you will see this as well within the app. Take a minute to open. This is also responsible for compiling all of your JavaScript files into a single file. It starts the app as either iOS, Android, or a web browser. It sends a link to test the app via email, and it allows you to publish or republish your project. So as you see here, you have the little QR code, which you could take a picture of on your phone, and then you could actually test this app directly from your phone. You could run this in a web browser by clicking the button here. Opening up a browser. Attempting to open up a browser. And you can also kick off the iOS or Android. These are the same commands that you see here. There you go. So here's our app running in a browser. Now, if we go back over here to our terminal window, we can hit I to open up iOS. We can go to our browser. There we go. We can go back into our Metro here. We could also click Run on iOS Simulator. As you can see, it's doing the same thing here, opening on iPhone X and opening on iPhone X. So everything you see in the terminal here is also displayed here in your Metro bundler. Now, if I try to run on Android, we got the error message that our Android device is not set up yet. And I'll walk you through doing that in just a second. Now, before we talk about Android, since I am on a Mac, let's start by looking at how to set up an iOS simulator. Now, I've already done this, so because I did click Start on iOS, we will see the emulator start up momentarily. But let's walk through how to actually configure for a different emulator. So we want to first start up Xcode. Now, once Xcode is loaded, you want to go down to Open Development Tools and go to Simulator. One other thing you will need, not just Simulator, is if we go back over here to Xcode, other development tools, more developer tools. When Xcode installs out of the get-go, it doesn't always install the command line tools for your local environment. So you'll have to actually go out to the Apple developer website and actually look for the command line tools for Xcode. You'll select the latest version for your version of Xcode, click the little plus, and then click the command line tools and download. Now, since Xcode is only available for Mac, you only need to do this if you're on a Mac. Once you download it, then the simulator will work. If you try to run the simulator first, Xcode will fail because it can't communicate with the simulator without this tool here. All right, so let's go back over here. Xcode Simulator. Now, Simulator is open. It's already deployed our app. But up here, we can go and do File, New Simulator. And we can then go pick the device that we want to test. So we can do anything from watch, TV, iPads, or iPhones. So say I want to do an iPhone 12 Pro Max. And by selecting the device, it will automatically use that device name for your name if you don't enter in anything. And then you can also change your OS versions. Now, by default, Xcode will always be loaded with the latest iOS, tvOS, or watchOS. If you need to test your simulator on an older version of the iOS, you will need to actually download that SDK for that particular device. So we'll create this one. As you can see, I'm currently running the iPhone X, so let's change this to the iPhone 12 Pro Max. We'll create this guy, close the iPhone X. And now if I do File, Open Simulator, iOS 14.3, I can select my iPhone 12 Pro Max. And that'll take a minute to start.